You are listening to the What Queens Say podcast.
Welcome to What Queens Say, the podcast that reigns supreme in the realms of entertainment news and politics. Here, we embrace the fun and the crazy that is life, where the crowns of comedy and respectability sit side by side. As we navigate through the ever-changing kingdoms and queendoms of pop culture and political intrigues, I pledge to treat all with reverence and jest, so don't get offended so easily. If this is your first time here, thank you for listening, and if you would like to be part of my court and hear all the latest episodes, be sure to follow and subscribe. So, my esteemed kings and queens, sit upon your thrones, grab your royal goblets, and let the wisdom and whimsy commence.
Hey peasants, this is a What Queens Say podcast.
Welcome back, beloved listeners, to What Queens Say. For new listeners and for those already know, I'm Queen D. It has been 3 years since we called the podcast quits, but like Madonna trying to stay relevant, I have emerged from the shadows fueled by the spirit of Pride Month and a burning desire to counteract the hate that still plagues our world. I hope that this podcast will break barriers, educate the ignorant, and bring some peace and understanding to all my listeners. Before I get onto today's topic, I think it's time to share some gay sports news. A couple weeks ago, Dion, the gay presidential candidate that goes by Ron DeSantis, is showing more of his inner struggles with his homosexuality by tweeting about the LA Dodgers LGBTQ Pride Night. His tweet came after some conservative Christian trash were seen protesting and making themselves feel good about showing their Christianly love to all the attendees of the game. In support of the loving good Christian protesters, he tweeted, "The virtually empty stadium for the game is a powerful image. Americans are fed up with the nonsense and are fighting back." Dion is such a bitter queen, so let's look at some facts. First off, the attendance for the LA Dodgers games averages around 47,000 people. For this particular Pride Night, the number was up to 49,000 people. So that is 2,000 more than average. Congrats to the Alphabet Mafia and all of our allies. Are these numbers high for a baseball game? No, not at all. But the empty stadium had nothing to do with the gays. It is baseball. It isn't like it was in its heyday. No one goes to baseball games anymore. I mean, people do, but it's not as big as NFL or NBA. As for fed up with nonsense that he was saying, Dion is right. Americans are fed up with the bigots, the racists, the fake Christians throwing out their hatred and evilness and then pretending that they're doing good for the world. People are tired of their nonsense and people are fighting back. I'm about to give some advice, though, that will help anyone out there that may be on the wrong side of history here. For me, with this whole deal, I hate the fact that people that struggle with their homosexuality or they are struggling with the fact that they are living a lie daily or hate their life doesn't mean that they have the right to come after all of us gays that would have their back if it came down to it. You know, getting married and pushing out kids late in your life doesn't make you straight, and coming after us doesn't cover up that you're gay. Just take that for what it's worth. You know, just live your truth. Now that I'm done with my rant on this, let's get on to the matter of contention for today, and that is celebrities. They deal with bullshit just like us. Despite the fame and fortune that celebrities have, at their core, they are human beings just like us. And while most of them may lose who they were before fame, they are still going through the motions like the rest of us common folks. At times, we make celebrities the butt of the jokes, hence the reason I mentioned Madonna in my opening today. I personally feel Madonna will always be relevant, but making that joke would get some of you to, I'm sure, laugh. We sit back and we think they choose this career, so they just have to deal with it. In a way, that is right, but at times we need to remember that they are people just doing their jobs and suffering with some of the same mental stresses as the rest of us. Now, you may be thinking, well, sure. Celebrities have a huge influence on people, and because of that, their fan base really looks up to them and follows what they say. But their job is to entertain us and also to be the voices for their fans. But unlike politicians, celebrities don't actually make any change. They can only push for change. That's why getting mad at celebrities for sharing their opinions doesn't mean that their opinions actually will matter unless politicians make changes. I think that's a great thing about America, freedom of speech. I can sit here, say what I want as long as it's respectful. But that's the thing. We need to be respectful with freedom of speech and allowing some people to have their own freedom to say what they want. We need to allow that. Celebrity voicing their political opinions or a musician, same thing. But the politicians in America, their choices affect all of us. Entertainers, musicians, doctors, lawyers, rich and the poor. Again, that's that whole politicians. It's not me. I'm not the bad guy. It's the Hollywood people. They're the bad guys. Oh, it's not me. That's the bad guy. It's the gay people. They're the bad guys. Oh, it's not me. That's the bad guy. It's the education system, the school board. They're the bad guys. Oh, it's not me. That's the bad guy. It's these books your children are reading. Those are the things that we need to understand. It's like that whole look over there. Anyways, I'm off on another tangent. So celebrities are still able to voice their opinions based on their own life lessons, struggles, and upbringings, just like all of us. Now, while some celebrities love to show their stupidity and backward thinking openly, others tend to keep it to themselves, which gets me into what I want to talk about now. And actually, later I'll bring up this whole they like to keep it to themselves and why I think that's such a weak thing to do. For me, I'm really happy that right now, a very reclusive celebrity that normally stays silent came out and shared his opinion on trans and gay rights and did it gracefully and respectful to all. The country legend Garth Brooks himself is opening up a new restaurant called Friends in Low Places, named after that famous song that put him on the charts way back in the day. His restaurant is opening up this summer in Nashville, South Broadway. Gays love a good Broadway. This restaurant is going to be some good old-fashioned Southern home cooking with beers from all over America. In an interview, they had asked Garth about having Bud Light in his restaurant. And as you all know, or maybe you don't, in America, you can specifically order cans of beer or even soda pop that can have your image on it, your wedding date, your name on it. I mean, you can literally have anything put on these cans nowadays. Well, Bud Light put Dylan Mulvaney's image on it. And if you don't know who that is, Dylan is a recently transitioned woman that irks not only trans women, but also some very fake Christian conservatives out there. My opinion on Dylan is different. I'm a gay man. I'm not a trans man or a trans woman. So I can't really speak on my ick of Dylan, maybe on another podcast. Anyways, the thing is this, the Bud Light cans were not plastered all over the stores. It was just a nice gesture from Bud Light that wanted to celebrate Dylan's 1 year of transitioning into a woman. They put Dylan's face on the cans and sent them to her and her only. They didn't put them out in public to sell. She ended up sharing it on social media because she's an influencer, and because it was all for clout chasing, it kind of put some people over the edge. Especially, Bud Light is really loved before. Now, anything that's owned by Bud Light, I think Anheuser-Busch or whatever is the Busch, I don't even know. They're all mad about it. Well, anyways, I do feel for Dylan. I think there's no need to come after Dylan for her having her face on Bud Light. There's no reason to go after Bud Light. I think it's great that they're stepping up and they're putting a trans woman on their Bud Light cans. But I'm a little bummed out that they chose Dylan to have Bud Light, like kind of sending out that message like we support trans women. They could have done a lot better, I think, than choosing someone like Dylan. Dylan is not in the movement. Dylan, she isn't in the forefront. She wasn't out there fighting for the past 20, 30 years like Laverne Cox or Angelica Ross or MJ Rodriguez. These other trans women and activists have been out there for years fighting for the rights for trans women, and Bud Light gives it to a TikToker. I'm wondering if it wasn't Dylan, if they had done like Angelica Ross, or if they had put MJ Rodriguez on there and not a influencer who's a clout chaser. I just don't agree with it. I don't think that Dylan deserved it. I think that she is, trans woman. Congratulations, 1 year, congratulations. But she's a clout chaser. She's an influencer. But again, this is not on the topic of trans and Bud Light. Let's get back to this story. Garth Brooks, he's a country star. He's friends in low places. He's married to Trisha Yearwood. He has some of the greatest music of all time. He is like the best-selling country music artist of all time. I mean, I'm assuming, don't go after me, country music listeners, but like this man is pretty much amazing and people are going crazy on him. Like they're mad. We'll get into it in a minute. Basically, Bud Light's going to be at his restaurant. So Garth Brooks in the interview started talking about the restaurant. And here's what he said. He said, I want it to be a place you feel safe in. I want it to be a place where you feel like there are manners and people like one another. And yes, we are going to serve every brand of beer. We just are. It's not our decision to make. Our thing is this. If you come into this house, love one another. If you're an asshole, there are plenty of other places on Lower Broadway. He even straight up said Lower Broadway. Even though he's already in a low place. I like that one. If you come into this house, love one another. Isn't that what we're all about, right? As Americans, we're supposed to love one another. We're supposed to be there for each other. But it's different, right? When it's trans rights or gay rights. Anyways, the man is spitting facts. He is not wrong at all. This definitely caused a huge stir with the good Christian God-fearing child indoctrinating saviors of the Conservative Party, and it got them outraged and threatening to boycott Garth's restaurant, of course. Like I mentioned, though, in the first episode of What Queens Say on the all-new recreation, the key to understanding and to be accepting is to educate yourselves and make your lives more diverse. Garth Brooks then on his live stream said this, I get it. Everybody's got their opinions. But inclusiveness is always going to be me. He then goes on to say, I love diversity, all inclusive, so all are welcome. I understand that might not be others' opinions, but that's okay. They have their beliefs and I have mine. Now, he's speaking like a true country straight ally, friend in low places, and this queen stands. He's not wrong. Diversity, all inclusiveness is amazing. You have no idea how much fun you will have in your life and how happy you are and how actually closer to God you will be when you start being kind and loving everyone and being friends with everyone. Just because you are against trans doesn't mean you need to be a dick to them or treat them like crap. Educate yourself and get better. I'm really curious how much backlash Garth will get for this and if his restaurant will struggle. But I think any of the LGBTQ and allies out there that are listening to this, I think go and when his restaurant opens, make sure it's packed. Fill it up. Go and buy Bud Light. Who are you scared of? Go and buy the freaking Bud Light. Who are you afraid of? What's going to happen if you buy a Bud Light? Your friends are going to make fun of you. You're trans rights. Like, yeah, because I'm not an asshole. You support trans rights. Yeah, because I'm not a piece of shit. Also, on another side note, these same people who are going to be boycotting Garth Brooks are also boycotting Dolly Parton because her song with Miley, Rainbow Land, played at a school in the South. So now they're banning Garth Brooks, banning Dolly, banning Disney. I mean, how evil can these people be? I mean, you're banning all the good things about America, the happiest place on earth, the king of country, the fairy godmother of America. I mean, jeez, you sure are good Christian folks. Love Lord. Pure evil, I swear. All right. So in other news on this Garth Brooks matter. So earlier I had mentioned that some celebrities just shut up. They don't say nothing, which I don't know if it's just me, but I was talking to my husband a couple of days ago and he had the same thought as me. Before, when we were having so many issues with gay rights, trans rights, lesbian rights, so many celebrities were out there putting people in their place, telling them to F off. But now it's like all of these allies are brainwashed or they're just afraid of these conservative Christians. I feel like they're all like cowarding now behind closed doors. And I don't see them making posts about us anymore. I don't see them saying anything about us, anything protecting us. And don't get mad at me, gays out there, but I feel like there are celebrities out there that are kind of doing what Starbucks is now backtracking, right? Starbucks of all places, they're now, backtracking on rainbow displays and stuff, and they're afraid of the conservative, racist, bigoted Christians. And now these celebrities and these singers are still using us for gay money, making albums that are for gay people, but then they don't say nothing on media. They don't go publicly to go against anyone else. They just take our money and maybe on stage will say, yay, love is love. I just find it funny that all these celebrities are not there anymore. Where are those voices? I don't know. Maybe I'm just like not looking in the right places or whatever. And the only person I heard saying anything recently or remotely on our side is freaking Melissa McCarthy. Me and my husband, are we the only ones are we in a bubble and we don't see this stuff? Other than gay celebrities and gay trans activists, no other celebrity is saying shit. No one's backing us up anymore. So going back to celebrities that don't say nothing and or are afraid to say something. And maybe I'm not fully educated on the matter with this guy. I was always a fan of his growing up. I thought he was hilarious. I love him in all the Adam Sandler movies. So Rob Schneider, he's from SNL, he's in all the Adam Sandler movies. He made a comment about Garth Brooks with the whole Bud Light in the restaurant thing. And he goes, I think next time he's going to stay out of it, isn't he? I think Garth Brooks next time is going to shut his mouth and he's going to pretend like I don't have anything to do with what beer is chosen in my restaurant. And so then he goes on to say, I think the culture is in a very weird little place of hypersensitivity one way or the other. And we all know who the sensitive ones are. The ones that are crying about rainbows, Dolly Parton and Garth Brooks, Bud Light. I mean, how sensitive are you? And then he goes, I think that's why most people shut their mouths. I mean, just from a business standpoint, just shut up and say, I have nothing to do with it. Exactly. Yeah, Rob Schneider, you're right. Be a little bitch. Like Starbucks. Like Rob Schneider, I don't know if he's crazy conservative all of a sudden. I don't know if he's on drugs. Who knows? But my deal is this. No, now is not the time because you're scared of some conservatives or you're scared of some bigoted, evil politicians coming after you, or, oh, you're afraid your company will lose 50 million this year, even though you made 25 billion. Garth Brooks, I hope he doesn't back down on his view. I think if people don't buy the Bud Light, then, okay, then stop selling it, But the thing is this, why isn't anyone buying the Bud Light? There aren't enough trans or gay people, but there are enough allies of trans people who can go and buy Bud Light. Buy it. Why are you so ashamed to buy the freaking Bud Light? It's just so ridiculous. So with Garth Brooks, my whole thing is this. Support the man's restaurant. Be an ally doesn't just mean saying you're an ally. Prove it. Stand up for us. Come back onto social media. Say something. Go and buy Bud Lights because the snowflakes of the conservative party are whining because there's a trans person on 5 cans that was sent to a trans person that it wasn't sold in stores. Support these businesses. Starbucks, I'm so mad at you. I am a gold member at Starbucks and I'm tempted to get rid of my membership, even though I'm sure they don't care. I don't even want to drink Starbucks anymore after this behavior because this is ridiculous. Getting rid of all the rainbow displays because you're scared of who? Conservative trash? People who are going to be obsolete in 5 years, 10 years? I think it's time people need to support people that stand up for us. And I think if you're going to be an ally, prove it. Don't just say it. Moving on from the pure stupidity of ignorance, but the greatness of Garth Brooks being an ally. Thank you, Garth Brooks. There's a little bit of court drama right now in America. As you remember, back in 2021, Lady Gaga's dog walker / handler was shot and robbed while walking 3 of her beloved French bulldogs. One of the pets got away, but 2 were snatched up by these guys. Well, she put up a reward for $500,000. And she said for anyone who could bring her pets back to her, she will give them that money. Here's where it gets crazy. In the article, it said that the reward came with a statement, no questions asked. No questions asked means no matter what, even if it was you, you get the money. No matter what, if you knew the people who did it, you get the money. No questions asked. That's what that means. So the FBI at the time had said that it was a mistake and that she should not have given that statement. At the time of the robbery, French bulldogs were in like really high demand. So pieces of shit were out robbing and stealing these dogs because they were worth up to $10,000 a piece. That's a lot of money for a dog. This one woman claims she found the dogs tied up in her neighborhood and she brought them back to Gaga. Mother Monster was going to pay the woman money, but then after a couple months, the 3 men that shot her handler and stole the dogs were caught. But the thing is this, not only were they arrested, but one of the accomplices with these 3 men was none other than the woman that found the dogs. Gaga is refusing to pay this woman the reward, and this woman is suing. I personally think that Gaga has the right to refuse, but she also has the obligation to pay because she said, no questions asked. I looked up everywhere on that whole no questions asked thing, and the only person who said no questions asked was actually someone speaking for Lady Gaga. Does that count? Because if it wasn't from Gaga, but from a source close to the star, then it shouldn't count because Gaga didn't actually say that, or did she? The woman who, even though she was found guilty of being in cahoots with these guys, she is claiming that she had no involvement. She still says she had no involvement with the dog nappers and the attempted murderers. Throughout the investigation, they found otherwise, that she did. Then again, if Gaga said no questions asked, sorry Gaga, she has to pay up. I mean, personally, in the court of my opinion, by law, I would assume she would have to pay because she said no questions asked. She didn't say unless you're the kidnapper. But then I saw another one that did say, she said no questions asked unless you're involved with these suspects. I don't know where this is all just a bunch of mess out there. And I'm just wondering, or I'm kind of curious, what's going to play out? Will it all come out well? I'm curious how this will play out in court. For all we know, Gaga never said the no questions asked. Like I said, a source closer said it. I'll be keeping you all up to date as it comes along. Now on to some more Gaga news. Just like all of us, we have people coming after us if we post our drama on the internet, like some people do, and we get our people coming after us. Well, right now, Lady Gaga is getting some fan backlash because I don't know if any of you follow Gaga on Instagram, but if you do, you'll notice that she's like always constantly posting like her beauty brand, you know, and her movies that she's in and any project she's a spokeswoman for, but she's not posting about music, and she hadn't posted about Pride specifically. So many people in the community, especially in the gay community, are upset because she hasn't posted anything to the millions of gay people that helped her career, wishing them happy Pride, but she posts about a migraine medication. I thought it's funny because the little monsters went after her and started commenting on how she only cares about making money and selling products and that she doesn't care about her fan base and making music. I personally don't care because as a true Gaga fan from Red One all the way till now, I think her catching, that bag is most important. She's promoting music. She promotes products. She promotes medicine. If you've seen her documentary, you would know she struggles with some very bad health problems that cause her daily pain. The fact she's sharing a medicine that really helped her, I think that's nice. The thing is, people have to have some compassion. Yeah, she's a musician first, an actress later, and then a makeup person later. The thing is, that's what she is. She's all those things. She wears many different hats. And I think now her fans need to respect that because now there are people that love Gaga for her music and her music only. There are people that love Gaga for her movies only. There are people now who love her for her makeup only. But then there are those of us who love her for everything she does. The thing is, people need to calm down and understand that Gaga's fan base is not just the music anymore. Gaga's fan base is a whole bunch of other areas now. It's not just focused on the fans for the music. Same with Rihanna. Leave her alone. Let her do her dang makeup. The music's coming. But she also has another job now. And she's a mother. All of this just adds up. Gaga did reply to the drama with a follow-up video, and in true Gaga fashion, she said a lot without saying a damn thing. I think it's hilarious. I think if you have her on Instagram, go and look at her reply. It was beautiful. As you can see, celebrities go through some of the dramas that we go through. They open up restaurants and have to deal with the backlash from being woke in a cancel happy anti-freedom South. They have to go to court and deal with shit stains on the underwear of society who play the victims, and then have to deal with overly entitled people always wanting more and not being happy with what they get. But all jokes and rants aside, there are reasons celebrities are just like us. But what I'm going to say can also be kind of said to anyone. Rich, gay, straight, the list goes on. As long as you can relate in some ways. Every episode, I'll kind of end it on a message. Here's my message on celebrities. For all of us, we know that celebrities experience a wide range of emotions. They include joy, sadness, love, heartbreak, just like any one of us. They go through personal struggles, they face challenges, and they celebrate triumphs. Their wealth and status may shield them from their certain hardships, but they are not immune to the same experiences that shape all of our lives. Celebrities are not flawless beings. They have their own insecurities. They make mistakes and face failures. The difference is that their actions are often magnified and scrutinized by the public eye. This reminds us that nobody's perfect, regardless of their fame or wealth. Celebrities have family, they have friends, they have relationships that are meaningful to them. They experience the same joys, the same complications and dynamics in their personal lives as all of us. They form bonds, nurture connections, navigate the complexities of human relationships. Just like us, celebrities have dreams and aspirations. They set goals, work hard, and strive for success in their respective fields. Celebrities are not isolated from the world's social and global issues, like some of us like to think. Many of them use their platforms to raise awareness and advocate for important causes, demonstrating that they share concerns and care about making a positive impact on society. Garth Brooks' stance for us and Gaga's lack of stance speaks a lot. Gaga done so much for us. Does she need to keep saying more? Garth Brooks, he definitely stepped up, because most people who are white and conservative and from the South don't stand up and say things that go against what the majority of their people think. We need to understand that the issues that celebrities help advocate for help society, and we need to understand that. We also like to say celebrities have a lot of privilege, and they do. That's what happens when you're famous or you're filthy rich. Not just celebrities have a lot of privileges. Depending on your race, you have privileges. Depending on your job, you have privileges. Depending on your parents, you have privileges. Depending on your political party, you have privileges. Everyone has privilege. But the thing is it is important to remember that celebrities are human beings with their own strengths, weaknesses, and vulnerabilities, facing similar challenges and seeking happiness and fulfillment. That being said, they're the voice for us when our voices are not magnified. They are magnified. They can get their voices out there. They can fight these politicians better than us because they have louder voices. Because not only do they have a platform, but they also have their fan base. That is how we need to understand it. We need to stop going after celebrities who are on our side and go after these politicians, no matter what party they're on, who are coming after us. Should we be backing these celebrities that are backwards thinkers and on the wrong side of history? Of course not. Get educated, wake up, and know that these people are trash. Anyways, that's it, kings and queens, and that concludes the episode of What Queens Say. Remember, whether you're a celebrity or an everyday individual, we all share the same humanity beneath the glitz and glamour. So let's celebrate our shared experiences, embrace our imperfections, and remember that no matter our status, we're all navigating the wild ride of life together. Until next time, may the crowns of laughter and empathy forever adorn your regal heads. The royal court is dismissed.